The Bride of the Cursed Lake. Chapter 1. The Arrival. Part 2. The next morning we ventured into the village square, hoping that familiarity might soften the distance between us and the people who watched so closely. The villagers stood as if waiting for a show, the city folk on display, with their clean clothes and foreign eyes, eager to play at simple living. Each whispered word seemed to thicken the air, making it colder, heavier, charged with meanings we refused to understand. Anna held my hand, the touch more like a guiding tether than reassurance, as we moved between the sparse market stalls. I couldn't help noticing how they spoke in low tones, pausing when we neared, resuming once we passed. Anna, oblivious, admired the cottages with their thatched roofs and mossy stones, saw beauty where I sensed something else. We passed a stall selling root vegetables, a young man nodding in our direction, but avoiding Anna's eyes. "Isn't it wonderful?" she said, breathless with delight. "So authentic and raw." I looked around at the peeling paint, the sagging porches, the eyes that followed us from behind. "It's certainly different," I replied, wondering how long we would last in a place that had no room for us. An elderly woman tended a stall piled high with rough, misshapen bread. As we approached, she glanced up, squinting as if to place us in some forgotten category. Her hands were lined and sure, but when Anna picked up a loaf to admire it, they shook as though the bread had turned to something more alive, more demanding. "Lovely," Anna said. "Do you make it yourself?" The old woman mumbled something in response, her gaze darting from Anna to the ground. I thought I heard the word husband, but it could have been anything. Without warning, she crossed herself and turned away, busying her hands with some invisible task. Anna set the bread down gently, looking puzzled. I pulled her away, unable to shake the feeling that we were trespassing, that the village itself wished to shake us off like dirtied hands. "She's just not used to strangers," I said, though it felt like an apology rather than an explanation. At the next stall, a fishmonger with thick, gnarled fingers arranged his catch on a weathered plank. His eyes met mine with reluctance, holding long enough to judge me before shifting to Anna with the barest tint of a scowl. She didn't notice or pretended not to. "The lake's bounty," he said, holding out a limp trout as if it were an accusation. "We'll take it," I replied, eager to move on to avoid the weight of his stare. He named his price, refused to make change, left us holding the fish like it might take revenge. Anna laughed, tucking it in her bag, and I knew that she found the whole encounter charming, amusing, an example of quaint provincial manners. "Can you believe it?" she asked. He acted like I was the first woman he'd ever seen. I tried to smile, the expression brittle on my face. "They'll get used to us," I said. but the lie sat poorly on my tongue, sour and unformed. We wandered further, each step an invitation for the villagers to look, to whisper, to decide whether we belonged. A small boy pointed at Anna, his finger like an accusation or a plea, his voice bright with innocence and curiosity. "Are you one of the lake women?" he asked, before his mother shushed him, dragged him off in a flurry of hasty apologies. What did he mean? Anna wondered aloud, watching the boy disappear into the mist. "Nothing," I insisted, "just stories." But my insides twisted with a strange, ugly knowing, and the wind bit through my coat like a scolding. I couldn't shake the sense that we were part of something too large, too old, too inescapable. We stopped to catch our breath by a stall of withered flowers and useless trinkets. Anna's face was bright with the novelty of it all, but I felt the isolation creep in, felt the distance between her ignorance and my foreboding grow wider with every passing minute. "I love it here," she said, the words innocent as paper. "So much history, so much character. We'll see how much of it rubs off on us," I replied, the attempt at humor falling flat between us. We overheard fragments of conversation, each snippet more haunting than the last. "Mist season," someone said, the words pregnant with superstition. "Keep away from the water." Another voice warned, but it was too soft, too garbled for Anna to catch. "Probably just about the weather," she said, pulling me close. I wished I could believe her, wished the words weren't like stones in my throat, heavy and hard to swallow. We moved again, passing between vendors and villagers who seemed more willing to speak to me than to her, though their conversations were clipped and meaningless. I bought an old lantern with a cracked glass pane, and the seller nodded at me, pretending at friendliness. But the moment Anna drew near, his face closed like a story half told. The longer we stayed, the more my heart rattled against its cage, as though it knew something I couldn't yet name. The villagers' voices, their gestures, their unwillingness to see Anna, all of it clanged in my ears like some forgotten alarm. But Anna's joy refused to dim, her fascination untouchable, unmarred. She dragged me toward the edge of the market, her fingers warm, insistent, her excitement a force of nature I had never been able to resist. "Come on," she said, laughing as though it were the answer to everything. "We've got plenty of time to figure them out." I felt the chill deepen as we walked away, the sky pressing lower, tighter, more knowing. Every step we took away from the market seemed an effort of will, the village's breath cold and certain on the back of my neck. Anna squeezed my hand, so sure that all of this was hers. But I could not shake the feeling that it would be, and that it would come at a price she was willing to pay, and I was not.